यो ब्रह्माणं वितताकि पूर्वं यो वै वेदां स प्रदिनोति तस्मै तं ह देवम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यः ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यः वंशऋषिभ्यः महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यक्कर्तः ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaskaram to everyone. Om Namah Shivaya. I am planning to start with Sri Rudram. With the meaning of that over few podcasts. Hopefully this will end prior to Mahashivratri this year. I am not an expert on Sri Rudram, neither I know Sanskrit. Whatever I am going to share with you is what I heard from my Guru and read some materials from various other Gurus too. I hope this session would be useful for all of us. Sri Rudram is part of Yajurveda, which has 101 sakas, the divisions. One of the saga is called Taittiriya Samhita, and Taittiriya Samhita is having 7 subsections in it, 7 kandas in it. Sri Rudram, the Namakam part of the Sri Rudram, is actually in the 4th kandam on the 5th prashna, which is more or less very close to the middle of the Veda. We know we have 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Shama, Atharvana. So, in Yajus, in the middle, this is there. And the top of that is, within Sri Rudram, the middle of Sri Rudram has got the Panchakshari mantra, which is much more important, and it's like a jewel which is preserved inside the safe place. Sri Rudram is called by different names too. It's called Rudropanishad. It's a Upanishad because it shows the path for the Atma Jnanam from even for a beginner who doesn't know anything about it. It starts from that point and it leads you to the Atma Jnanam. Therefore, it is called Rudropanishad. Another common name is Sadarudriyam. It's because hundreds of aspects of the Rudra are being discussed or talked about it in this. It's not 100, it's hundreds, countless. Basically, that's what it means. Countless aspects are discussed in this. It's called Sadarudriyam. Another name is Rudra Suktam, because it talks about the glory of Rudra throughout. It's called Rudra Suktam. And it is also called Namakam. Namakam means Nama, 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 right? I am prostrating to you. Namaskarikiren. So that's being repeated several times. So it's called Namakam also. So generally in colloquial terms, the Namakam and the Chamakam part put together is called what we generally refer as Sri Rudra. Now, the word Rudram or Rudran it has several meanings. But most prominent meanings comes out from two dhadu, right? Ruddhadu and Rudhadu, right? It comes out from those dhatus, right? Basically, the word formation is from that, from a etymology perspective. Rud means the sorrow, misery, dukkham. Dra, the remover. So, dhravayati, niravayati, idi rudraha. One who gives and one who removes is Rudra. And when a dukkham comes, automatically people cry, people weep. So, rotiti, rotayati, idi Rudra. One who makes you cry and one who wipes off the tears is Rudra. If you look from the different dhatu, the Ru dhatu, Rutinam dhravayati idi Rudra, one who bursts forth with a reddish hue. It comes out like a reddish hue, like a bright sun, early morning sun. That kind of a thing. He burst with that. That is Rudra. Also, there is another meaning called Rotana idi Rudra, the life force. Right, say for example, the Rotana which I talked about it earlier. When a child is born in this earth, the first action the child does is cry. The moment child cries, everybody is happy about it. The cry of the child actually signifies the child is alive. The life force is there. And that life force indication, that lingam, that identification, that symbol is Rotana. So the life force signification is Rotana, which is given by Rudra. Therefore, he is the indication of that life force energy. It's also told, Dukkha heturva dravayati na prabhuhu Shiva paramashatram. So when we talked about the Rotiti, Rotayati, Idrudra, immediately, we think that, one who makes us cry, one who wipes off the tear, right? Immediately we see, why is he giving trouble? Does he have any other work? It always gives trouble to us. That's the kind of feeling generally we get it. We often miss the second part of it, one who wipes off the tears. That part we forget. So one is basically the one giving the trouble, giving the pain or sorrow. And another one is one who wipes off the tear, who makes us into that happy. So, dukkha nivartatvat rudraha. One who removes the dukkham is rudraha. Another aspect of looking at it is, ananda prakatvat shiva. So, whenever we talked about dukkham, from that aspect, we use the nama Rudra for the Lord. When you look at the same thing from the bliss perspective, from the blessing perspective, from the happiness perspective, it is called Shiva. Sri Rudram, or even before that, any Veda mantra for that matter, any Veda mantra is typically used for doing some karma or other. A karma, an action, can be classified into three parts. A vachika karma, a manasa karma, and a kayaka karma. Vachika karma is the one which we do it with our verbal action. Manasa karma is the one which you do it mentally. Only mental activities. And kayaka karma is the one which we use the physical body, indriyams and body, other parts, all the parts we use it, including the mind. That's kayaka karma. Although all the Veda mantrams are like this, Sri Rudram is very, very unique. It is unique from the perspective that it is used for all the three types of karmas which I told. It is used as a vachika karma as a part of our chanting. It is used as a manasa karma because we can do dhyanam. It is also used as a kayaka karma when we are performing a abhishekam to the Lord or when we are doing a homam to the Lord. So Sri Rudram is used in all the three aspects of it. What does that mean to us is, we devotees are at different stages of maturity and different capacity. Not everybody can chant. Not everybody can do the dhyana. It needs some consistent practice, consistent efforts needed for it. So, Sri Rudram helps a person wherever they are, whatever stage they are in, whatever maturity level they are in a spiritual path, they can still use Sri Rudram and get the benefit out of it. That's the special beauty of Sri Rudram. So, when we are using Sri Rudram for any of this karma, vachika, manasa, kayaka karma, you need to be very, very clear on the sabdam. The sabda grahanam is what is very important onto that. That means the swara has to be clear, the matra has to be very clear. How we combine the words, the kambam has to be perfect. And you cannot do that, you cannot chant this or you cannot do that without taking a proper training from a competent group. And a lot of adhikaritvam, a lot of prerequisite has been mentioned. You should have done your Gayatri, you should have put your holy thread, right? So there are even some Vedam is possible on following the karma part of it. Now the question comes is, what if I don't satisfy for any of those adhikaritvam? What if that I'm not qualified for that, right? I'm not doing my Gayatri. I have not put my Punal. I'm not even a Brahmin by birth. So how can Sri Rudram help me out onto this? The good news is, Sri Rudram is a great jnana sadhanam. You don't need to chant even Sri Rudram. If you can simply do a Stravanam by listening to that Sri Rudram, by knowing the meaning of it and contemplating on it, is good enough to get the moksha. So it's a great jnana sadhanam. For that jnana sadhanam, there is only one adhikaritvam that is needed. We must have that vairagyam and mumukshutvam, have a feeling that I wanted to know about this Lord. And I dedicate this 15 minutes, 20 minutes, when this chanting is going on, let me just listen only to that. That kind of a mindset is good enough to get into that moksha path, which is more arthagrahanam. The chanting, dhyanam and all, from a karma perspective, it is saptagrahanam. And here it is arthagrahanam. Arthagrahanam is the prathanam. So you don't need to know what swara it is. If you know, it is great. But if you don't know, that's okay. Right? The arthagrahanam is much more important onto this. But if you don't know, better don't chant. So that's the kind of message here. The Sri Rudram is used in several anushtanam of a jiva. Typically everybody takes birth and we celebrate our first year birthday, and through Vaidika karma, the next birthday we celebrate is only when we complete our 59th year and go to 60. That is Ugrarada Santi. Then we do it when we cross 60 to 61, that's called Sashyapta Buddhi. Then again Bhimarada Shanti when we cross 69 to 70. Then a unique calculation, when we complete our 77 years and 7 months and 7 days, then we do what is called as a Vijayarada Santi. Then when we cross 80, we do again Satabhishekam. And when we get our great-grandchild, it's done as a Kanakabhishekam. And then when we complete our 100 and go to 101, that time we do Purnabhishekam. In all these steps, all these shantis which I mentioned, all these 8, 1. There is an abhishekam performed to that person. And during that abhishekam, we chant Sri Rudram. And that person was considered as Samba Parameshwara. And then we perform that abhishekam for that person who completes 59, 60, 70, like that. So this is not only used as a regular Nitya Karma stuff or as a Jnana Marga Sadhana, it is also used on our regular Naimitya Karmas, wherever a specific time is being done at that time. So it's a Nitya Karma because everybody has to chant. Anybody who is doing Gayatri, a Brahmin, has to chant Sri Rudram. In fact, all the Vedam, which is not practical, especially these days, we don't even know. Therefore, at least Rudram. Okay, that's Nitya Karma. Naimitya Karma, we are doing it during the specific time, right? When we complete 59, when we complete 60, when we complete 70, also used as a prayachitta karma. So, the prayachitta karma, we always do some pabam or other, knowingly or unknowingly. So, by chanting Rudram, it helps us to reduce the pava palam, the bad acts, whatever we have done. We can get rid of that, by nullify that, by doing this Sri Rudram. And there are various ways of doing it. There are multiple ways as been mentioned here. It can be done at a samashti level. It can be done at a vyashti level. Basically, I can do it as a group with several people so that the paba of all of us, not only the Ritviks, but also the people who are listening to that, can be wiped off. Or it can be done at home, atmartam. We just do it individually and get rid of our pabas. So we can do one round of Rudram and one round of Chamakam. That's a normal one. That's everyday practice. Then what we can do is, we can do 11 times Rudram. We can do one time Rudram, first Anuvaga of Chamakam, followed by one more round of Rudram, so on and so forth until the 11th time, which is called Rudraikasani or Ekadasa Rudram. This is the Ekadasa Rudram which we commonly call. And then another type is, you have 121 Ritviks sitting there and chanting it for 11 times, which is 121. Repeat the same process, basically 11 times more than the Ekadasa Rudram, which is called a Lagu Rudram. So when you do a Lagu Rudram, you should also do a homam generally, right? 1/10 of that, this thing, you do a homam also, right? If you do Sastrottam, right? If you do that, that's what the people do. Then you do the same thing with 11 times more of that. That means you have 121 people chanting 11 times every day for 11 days. That becomes Maharudram. Or you have 121 people chanting it for 11 times. That's Maharudram. And again, even bigger than that would be, right, with another 11, right? Basically, 121 people chanting it for 121 times is called Adhirudram. So all of this are typically the Prayachitta Karma. By doing Prayachitta Karma, all kinds of pabam gets wiped off. So that immediately the question will come, how do you know it will wipe off? Who told you? For Vaidikas like us, Shruti is the first pramanam. Shruti says that. Not in one place, in several places it is being told. I don't know the quote exactly, but it is being told. It is not just in Shruti. Smriti also covers that. The aspects of the Rudran, the aspects of chanting every time. It's being mentioned. Rudranam Sankarascha Asmi. Bhagavan says that in Bhagavad Gita. Smriti. In Idikasam, Mahabharata, for example, says Lord Sri Krishna was chanting Rudram and he was praying Lord Shiva. It's being talked about it in Mahabharata. And we know, Bhagavan himself says in Bhagavad Gita, I don't need to do any karma, but I still do it so that people can follow it. Sishtacharaga. For that purpose, Bhagavan himself has demonstrated that this is how we should do, this is how we should live. It doesn't end there. Purana, Sri Rudram and Sri Rudras are being discussed in several places. Name it. You have it in Linga Purana, Matsya Purana, Padma Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Vayu Purana, Vamana Purana, even Vishnu Purana has references to Sri Rudram and Rudras. That's being discussed onto this. Now the question will come, whenever we say Rudra, is it a singular or a plural? That's the kind of question that will come. Although Rudra sounds like singular and Rudra Ganas seems like plural, the word Rudra is also used as a plural, and typically with a count of 11. And in fact, I heard the word Rudra means numeral 11. I don't know, I didn't check that, but I heard in a couple of places like that. So 11 manifestations of the Lord is Rudra. And there are some confusions about this as well exist, even within Vedas. Is it 11? Is it 33? What are the names for that? There is no definitive answer for this question. And the more I digged, more I got confused. That's the reality. Let me share something which I found so far. The discussion about the Rudras are even there in Rig Vedam, which is considered to be older. It's actually there in all the Vedas. All the 4 Vedas, we have references to Rudras. And Rig Veda is the oldest. In that, it's not talking about 11, it's 3 times 11, which is 33 Rudras are being discussed there. But how they classified is 11 Rudras each in Bhuhu, Bhuvaha and Suvaha. Basically on the earth plane, on the Surgam plane and on the Antariksha plane. So 33, 11 times 3, 33. That's what he was talking about it. But the naming completely different. And there are other references also. In Shatabada Brahmana, the 33, or it's again 33, but that 33 are broken into 8 Vasus and 8 Rudras and 11 Adityas. And then Deus and Prithvi. That's what is considered as the Rudras. Then in different places like Yashkacharya, it's talking about 8 Vasu, 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas and 2 Aswini, so on and so forth, right? Brihadaranyam says completely different. It says 8 Vasu, 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas, Indra and Prajapati. So the point is, there are different views of it in different part of the scriptures. I am not competent to understand this or explain this. All I am putting forth to you is there are some differences here, right? As long as we know that, that's good enough. But there are a couple of codes which are very important for a Vedantic student like us, which will set our mind in a proper direction. In the same Brihadaranya Upanishad, Yagyavalkya was questioned, Katame Rudra Idi. Who is Rudra? And he answers, Dasame Purushe Pranaha Atma Ekadashaha. The 10 pranas, which is basically 10 indriyas, the prana refers to indriyas here. The 10 indriyas and the self, the mind, the chitabhasa, That is the Ekadasha Rudra. This is what is very important to us, and the whole Rudram is going to be based on this particular Brihadaranyas statement. Chandogya Upanishad from Shamaveda is also talking about Rudra. It says, Prana Vava Rudra iti itam sharvam rotayanti. Rudra is the vital breath which causes tears for the departing soul, for a departing person, for departing. Again here prana refers to indriyas and manas. So in both the cases of Brihadaranyam and Chantokyam, it connects the Rudras directly to our own indriyas and manas. There are other references also about Rudras. It means Rudra is the father of Marut, and it refers as a Bhava, Shankara, Ugra, Mahadeva. Or it says the wild one, or the one who storms with wind, with the bows and arrows. Multiple meanings there. In Rig Veda, the word Shiva appears many times. Some say 18 times it appears. But the word Shiva in Rig Veda does not refer to Lord Shiva whom we pray in these days. It's not referred as a god at all. Rather, it's the quality, the Mangalagaram, the auspiciousness. Shiva means auspicious. That's what is referred in Rig Veda in several times. In Sri Rudram, there are 170 Taittiriya Rudra mantras that are there, which are grouped into 11 Anuvagams. It's beautiful from the perspective of style, dictation, rhythm, the structure of the words. Basically, the intensity, the vibration is very profound. Most of us has experienced that. The Chamakam part which we chant is also from the Yajurveda Taittiriya Samhita on 4.5 and 4.7. That's a different section part of it, right? In our custom, especially in Kumbhakona Sampradayam, when we do chanting, when we talk about Ekadasa Rudra, we have the 11 Rudras are considered as Mahadevam, Shivam, Rudram, Shankaram, Nilalokitam, Ishanam, Vichayam, Bhimam, Devadevam, Bhavotbhavam, Adityatmak, Sri Rudram. And that's what we call as the Ekadasha Rudra, and that's what we do, Avahanam and things like that. And this Rudram and Chatarudriyam is in pretty much in all the sagas. I talked about 101 saga. In almost all the sagas, this Sri Rudram is appearing. Bhatta Bhaskara, he is one of the commentator on Sri Rudram. He mentions that it is there in all the 101. Bhatta Bhaskara is one of the commentator on Sri Rudram. Other person is Sainacharya, and other one is Abhinava Saraswati Shankaracharya. Similarly, in Japalopanishad, there is a question on what is considered, what can be chanted to get moksham. And it says Shatarudriyam. Again, Upanishad quoting. Right? And I just conclude this. We can keep on, go on this. There are so many quotes. The last one I would say is in Kurma Purana, where Parameshwara himself is talking to a king called Vasumanas. And he was telling that, to do this, to get the moksham after your Gayatri Upasanam, that means Santhyavantram Vagaira, sit in a clean place and pray with that namas of the Lord, which is the Yajurveda Sharam. The entire Yajurveda Sharam is in Sri Rudram, which is the best one. But when you are chanting, your mind should not wander. It needs to be focused on this. And you should keep thinking about me while chanting it. With a brahmacharyam, with a little food, with the basmam, right? Now put the vibhuti and all, right? And if you do like that, the moksham is definitely assured to you. It's like pouring water to the root of the tree. When you pour water to the root of the tree, that reaches every part of the tree. The leaves, branches, trunk, everywhere it goes and reaches. You don't need to feed separately. Similarly, by chanting Rudram and making Sri Rudra happy, all the devatas are going to be happy about it. Finally, Kaivalya Upanishad. Yaha chatarudriyam atite logni bhuto bhavati surabhanat bhuto bhavati brahma makatyat bhuto bhavati krityat bhuto bhavati tasmat vimukchatrito bhavati asyastrami sarvata sakrate japet. By chanting Sri Rudram, even the papas that came by drinking the surabhanat, having liquors, or killing of a Brahman, or doing something incorrect, from all the pabams, once gets out from there. So, this speaks about the Mahima of Sri Rudra. There are many, many more. I did not give much quotes. I tried to simplify that. And I'm not an expert again. Whatever I know, I just shared. So in the next session, we will try to see about the Lagunyasam part of Sri Rudra. Om Tat Sat.